Good afternoon and welcome. My name is Jim Lesko. I'll be chairing this meeting of the Buncombe County Board of Adjustment. And I'll ask the members to self-introduce themselves.
George Lycan, South Asheville.
Peggy Van Johnson.
John Yurko, Weaverville.
Lisa Stevens, South Asheville.
Jim Guido, Beaver Dam.
Lori Camerata, Beaver Dam.
You all received a copy of the minutes. Are there any corrections? Hearing none, the minutes will stand as submitted. If you're going to testify today, you'll have to be sworn in. So if you will come forward and put your hand on the Bible, I will swear you in.
No one speaking?
No one speaking today?
If you're going to speak at all,
And he's speaking.
sworn in.
Do we need to speak? I don't mind.
Someone's going to need to make the presentation.
Yeah.
for your case.
One at
Put
a
your hand on the
time.
Bible, please.
One at a time, all at
All at
All
once.
at the same time. When you put your hand on the other person's shoulder, yeah. You solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Okay. Okay, Josh.
All right, the first case that we have before us today is ZPH 2011-00085. Lifeway Christian Resources has applied for a conditional use permit for a plan unit development pursuant to section 78-677 and 78-678, paragraph 9 of the Buncombe County zoning ordinance in order to site a new canteen and storage area on tax lot pin number 0629593384 at 78 Balsam Road. The reason this is coming before you as a conditional use permit is it's an existing site. It's considered a legal non-conforming use, but they are over the two primary uses on a single parcel threshold. So that is why we're having them before you today. We've not had any public opposition to the project. We have had several phone calls, but the phone calls that we've had have been generally agreeable with the use.
All right. Who will be presenting for this institution?
I will be.
Please sit down. Tell us what you're going to do or plan to do.
My name's Phil Berry, and we are, just as he said, we're building a new canteen and storage building on our girls' camp, which is Camp Crestridge for girls. The old building was dilapidated and needed repair, and so it just seemed like the best time for us to update that building.
So you're just retrofitting an existing building? Or
Well, we tore down the old building because it was cheaper just to do that. There are two small buildings right next to each other. One was a storage shed, literally, and one was a single-story, two-room building.
How is the footprint going to be changed?
It basically will not be. I mean, it'll be changed because it will. Two buildings will then become one. So everything in between the two buildings will be a part of that single
So
structure.
essentially, it's the same size.
It's the same size. Yeah.
Any other changes to the site you'll be making?
No, not really.
No changes in parking, no changes in...
No,
Okay.
no.
This is all within the Ridgecrest common area,
It's all within. Yes, it's all within the Camp Crestridge for girls,
which is a
Yeah.
subset of
which
Ridgecrest.
is a subset of yes.
Is there anyone else who would like to speak on this petition?
There was no comments from the public at all on this.
We had several inquiries, but most people, when they found out that it was internal to the camp, had no problem with it. No negative comments at all.
All right. At this time, I'm going to close the public hearing. Board members, any discussion?
I have none.
Okay. Like to make a motion? Oh, yeah, okay. Was your name Mr. Berry?
Yes.
Mr. Barry, is the information you have provided to the board true and accurate to the best of your knowledge and belief?
Yes.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, based on the evidence presented to this board, including the following exhibits, the petitioner's application of the submitted development plans, a GIS map, and findings of fact worksheet, I move that this board adopt the following findings of fact. There's 1 through 6A. Is that the application does meet the requirements for granting a conditional use permit.
Right.
All right, is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, there's been a motion and a second to adopt the findings of fact. Is there any further discussion? Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Let the minutes show there was unanimous vote to support the thing. Okay. You wanna-
We can make the motion.
Based on the foregoing findings of fact and the reasons set forth therein, I move that the requested variance be approved.
Is there a second to that motion?
I'll second it.
It's not a variance.
That would be our vow. Instead of a variance, I would state that it's a conditional use permit.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. Everyone please change that. Okay, is there any further discussion?
No.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, let the minutes show that the motion carried. Go and build your building, sir.
It does show variance on the document.
I know.
Yeah, yeah.
Who seconded that motion?
George, did you second it?
I did.
Barry, you're good to go.
Okay, Josh, we're ready for you again.
All right, the next case that you have before you is ZPH 2011-0086. James Ellis has applied for a conditional use permit in the name of Stephen Rowlinson for a plan unit development pursuant to Section 78677 and Section 78678, Paragraph 9 of zoning ordinance in Buncombe County in order to site 5 rental dwelling units on tax lot pin number 9688198429 at 492 New Salem Road. This is a conditional use permit just because of the number of dwelling units on a single lot. We've had no negative public comment about the issue. I will state that in terms of erosion control issues on the site, the county's erosion control representative, Doug Sharp, is working with the owners of the properties, and any approval that you make today will need to be conditional on meeting Doug's conditions.
All right, who will be presenting?
Yeah.
What are your names, please?
My name is James Ellis. I'm a professional land surveyor.
Steve Rowlinson.
All right, tell us what you're gonna do.
The property there is, what Steve's planning on doing is building 5 rental units on this piece of property. They'll be approximately 24-foot square. They're small. And each one will have 2 parking spaces. Good.
The size of the units of what, again, please?
Approximately 24-foot square. They're small units.
And And you envision this being full-time rentals?
Yes.
So normally 6.25 units are allowed on this type of lot. Okay.
Any other comments at this time?
Yes, the plan that was submitted shows a 20-foot gravel drive. The text says an 18-foot shared drive. Is there a minimum for a two-way drive that we need to comply with?
There's no minimum for the zoning ordinance, but what happened is they submitted original plans with an 18-foot drive. The fire marshal made them revise their plans for the 20-foot drive to meet the his standards as far as emergency access. And then he just submitted the plans yesterday, so.
And the fire marshal did not require a turnaround?
It's at the in between the last units at the top.
I see, I
space
see,
is 30
I
foot.
see, I got you.
And that was a revision to the originally submitted.
Between the two.
And you say this is just submitted, but it does meet all the requirements, other than the erosion?
Correct.
All right, is there anyone else who wants to speak on this petition?
I might can help you with the erosion. I was talking to Steve, and what Steve did was he let a neighbor access his property through Steve's property, and the guy just went there and cut a road. And so what Steve's doing is now he's graveling the road, because I was telling him, now you got to be careful to give your neighbor an easement across your property, because since Steve's the owner of the property, then the erosion control is holding him responsible. But that's been taken care of. All they wanted this thing done was gravelled, and we've took care of it, and I think everybody's.
So the neighbor has a recorded easement across this?
He does. He's the one who sold the property originally, and he needed access to his other property, the other part of his property.
And you're renting these, not selling these, correct?
Not selling.
And I will note for the board that with the discrepancy between the original submitted application and the new plans that show the 20-foot drive road, it would be conditional that it meet the fire marshal's requirements as well. So you would technically be approving that 20-foot access road, as that's what the fire marshal signed off on at this point.
All right. All right, this time I'm going to close the public hearing. Further discussion?
If I could just make a suggestion that if there is a motion to, just a quick suggestion, if there is a motion to approve this, that we add the two conditional uses, or the two conditions at the end, when based on the foregoing findings of PACT, I move that this conditional use permit be approved with the following conditions. Okay?
I do actually have one question to ask the applicant. The little diamond-shaped piece of property at your road entrance, is that a parcel that's included in your ownership in this application?
I believe so, yes. It was a little bit in doubt, but my surveyor did a lot of work on it. Last I heard, it's mine, yes.
So the street side dimension of that piece of property is 17 feet. So it looks like, even in the drawing, that the 20-foot driveway encroaches on the neighbor's property, which is the Morningwood Park, Inc., because you've only got 17 feet on that frontage. Do we require there to be an agreement an easement or something from Morningwood if his driveway is encroaching on that property?
Not from a zoning perspective, that would be a civil matter between two parties.
Okay.
But if there would be an issue is that if you're requiring them to have a 20-foot road, and
Right.
they don't have 20 feet to come on, they wouldn't be able to meet that standard.
It does show a 20-foot drive and utility easement, if I'm reading this correctly.
So, are you in possession of that little diamond-shaped piece of property? That's yours? Okay. Is its PIN number on this plat, or is the PIN number, the plat reference just for the larger piece? I don't see a reference to the smaller piece.
It's the larger piece. I can explain what happened there years and years ago, probably 50 years ago. DOT realigned Old Salem Road, and they moved it over. And so what happened was that piece of property was left there when they moved the road over. Now, DOT does not have any prescribed or fee simple title to the right-of-way, just what people's using.
Right.
And what happened was the owner of the property, with him and me and his lawyer worked on it, they actually, what the guy did was he gave him a deed to that piece. The reason it's separate is because he actually gave him a quitclaim deed to the little triangle and a warranty deed to the back property. But they've been using it for 50 years. Nobody's ever, it just never came up before. These people owned this property for years, and that's what they were doing.
So that driveway entrance is existing?
Yes, sir.
That encroaches on the Morningwood property? From a land use planning standpoint, do you see that as being any kind of legal issue, that we're approving a 20-foot drive on a property line that's only 17 feet?
Not that we would be party to. That would be up to the applicants to make sure that was legally clear before they.
Do they have like an adverse possession, because this has been there for 50 years?
Not that I'm rendering legal advice, but they would have a pretty strong case if there was a quitclaim deed. They would at least have 7 years after the quitclaim deed that if there's no suit brought, yeah, they would.
Because it would be embarrassing for the board if that owner should go down there and say,
Well,
I'm going to
I
put
think
a post right there, right?
Well, I think ultimately, before they get their zoning permit, they have to establish that with the zoning department before they get final sign-off. So
Right.
it's kind of their, it's a
their issue, yeah.
it's a them problem, not a your
Yeah,
problem.
right.
So.
I think you have to make that clear so that we don't put ourselves in a position of okaying something that might not be able to happen in the future. All right, would someone like to make a motion? George?
All right. Mr. Chair, based upon the evidence presented to this board, including the following exhibits, the petitioner's application, the submitted development plans, the GIS maps, finding of facts worksheet, I move that this board adopt the following findings of fact. 1 through 6A.
If I could make just one suggestion, in 6C, we change that from 18 to 20 feet. 6AC.
Okay, let me make that pen and ink change. 6AC. Yes. Is that correct?
Yeah.
We're now read satisfactory ingress and egress. And then the italics paragraph is the 5 units will have an 18-foot shared drive.
We change that to 20.
Make that amended to 20.
Change that to 20.
All right, but it's noted. Is there any questions on the annotation?
Yep.
So the motion stands as previously read with the change of 6A, small c, with the 20-foot shared drive. There was one other proviso we had.
Well, let's adopt the findings of fact, and then we'll get to the
On the amendment, we'll
conditions
say
on the
those.
next
Yeah.
one.
Okay, is there a second to George's motion?
I'll second it.
Okay, Jim seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, it will stand as submitted. Okay, George.
Okay. Based upon the foregoing findings of fact, and for the reasons set forth therein, I move that the requested variance be approved.
Does it say variance?
Right.
Did we get that again? Okay, well, let's make that pen and ink. It's what is it?
Conditional use.
Conditional
Conditional
CUP.
Be approved with the.
Be approved with.
And my suggestions would be is, number one, comply with all fire erosion control requirement, or all erosion control requirements. And my second recommendation would be is that they maintain the right-of-way easement in conformity with the approved fire marshal's plan.
Okay, Madam Secretary, did you get that? Okay, George, do you?
Yeah, I'm good.
Suggestions?
I'm good with this. Let me read it back. Comply with all erosion control requirements, that's one. Number two is maintain a right-of-way easement consistent with, is that
Yes,
correct?
consistent
Consistent with approved
Fire marshal
marshal guidelines.
Plan.
Fire marshal plans.
All right, is there a second to that motion?
I'll second it.
All right, there's a motion and a second. Any further discussions? But before we do that, Messrs. Ellis and, what was your name, sir?
Steve Rowlinson.
Rowlinson. Is the information you have provided the board true and accurate to the best of your knowledge and belief?
It is, sir.
Okay. All right, I think we're ready to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Let the minutes show there was unanimous approval. Okay. Is there any other?
Before you today.
Okay. Any other business? Okay, I'm going to call into our session
Thank you.
at 12:24.
That was pretty fast.
Yeah, as opposed to last time, yeah.
We can lunch